What is up, my loves? Welcome back to my channel. This is take 2 for this week's video. I just recorded one and I stopped in the middle of it because I didn't really like it. I haven't pulled cards or anything. I've just been kind of going on riffs, sharing a couple downloads and different things like that that I've been receiving, and I just really didn't, it just didn't feel very good. So quick summary: allowing yourself to feel better than others. We talk about the macro, talking about it from a micro level and a day-to-day level. It's like in situations where, have you ever allowed somebody to perceive themselves as being intellectually, physically, emotionally, like whatever, superior to you because you felt like they needed that more than you did? Where it's like, this person doesn't feel good enough. This person obviously doesn't feel good enough, and they obviously need to win this argument, or they obviously need to make me feel dumb so that they can feel good about themselves. And so I'm just going to let them win this, and I'm not going to say a rebuttal or whatever. Moments like that, instances like that, allow yourself to become more aware of how you personally do this in your day-to-day. It's moments like that that you are choosing other people and sacrificing yourself. You're neglecting yourself emotionally when you don't stand up for yourself, when you're having conversations and people say things that doesn't sit right with you, when you're connecting with people and they say things that hurt your feelings, or they address you or speak to you in a way that you don't particularly enjoy or you don't like. When you don't say something and you don't stick up for yourself, you are communicating to yourself that how you feel doesn't matter, and how other people feels matters more. How other people feel matters more. These are the tiny little switches, the fine tuning that you want to work on this week, because the version of you that lives the life that you are creating for yourself right now, whether that's like family, spouse, new job, new car, new apartment, whatever, you want that life because you feel like you're gonna feel better having that life. You want that life because when you imagine that life for yourself, you imagine yourself being emotionally satisfied. This week, you're becoming more and more aware of all of the ways that you are not emotionally satisfying yourself, all of the ways that you are letting yourself down emotionally, and you are choosing other people and choosing to sacrifice yourself in the process. When you don't set a boundary because you feel bad, when you avoid an argument, when you hold your tongue in the name of keeping the peace, you are sacrificing yourself. You're communicating to yourself that your emotions are not important. And that how you feel is not important. And that somebody else feeling better, that a situation appearing to be better, is more important and of greater value to you than you actually feeling good. And it's about recognizing that the way that you have been functioning in relationships up until now is really not working for you because you don't feel good within them. Now, if you are in that relationship dynamic where there's like, you have people who feel like they need to one up you, it's because there's a vibration of I'm not good enough on both of your ends. So that's what you want to work on releasing, shifting out of, aka what are you moving towards this week? You are moving towards a greater feeling of feeling good enough. I just want to feel good enough. Inner being, I'm open to a greater understanding about what it means to be good enough. What does it mean to be good enough? What does it mean to be worthy of love? Guide me to that feeling. That's what you're working towards. this week. Definitely wanting to know, what does it feel like to be good enough and worthy of love? You have friendship dynamics where you're experiencing jealousy, whether it's subconscious jealousy, you're jealous of them, they're jealous of you. It's always a mutual thing, always back and forth. Moving away from those feelings of jealousy. In order to move away from that, it's really about recognizing that you are worthy and deserving of love. When we're experiencing jealousy, it's because we are looking at someone else, and whatever they're experiencing, whatever it is that they're embodying, we are perceiving them to have something that we cannot have, cannot achieve, is not possible for us, whatever, we don't feel worthy of. So it's not them that's doing something wrong per se, it's us that are being triggered, it's us that are disagreeing with our inner being. Something that would really serve you to recognize and allow yourself to internalize this week and moving forward would be that everything that everyone is experiencing gets to be a source of inspiration. When people are showing up as success and they're sharing their success, that's the universe communicating to you, this could be you. When people are showing up doing things that you think is super cool and super awesome, that's the universe communicating to you, this could be you. So if you can recognize that you have a specific desire and you have a specific goal, or many of them, which we all do, and if you can see people who are experiencing that goal as the universe is showing me what is possible for me, the universe is showing me what I can also experience, then that will help you also to move forward. Because when you're being triggered and you're experiencing jealousy, one of the thoughts that's coming up is, I can't have this, I'm not allowed to have this, or this is impossible for me, or I'm not worthy of this, etc., etc. You also want to work through feelings of shame. Shame is when we can't differentiate who we are from our actions. So we think that if we do something bad, that means that we are bad. And we feel inherently wrong and inherently unworthy. If you want to move through your feelings of shame, really good exercise is not to try to convince your inner child that, no, you're not a bad person. You're not an evil person. See, you're good. Because when you did the bad thing, you were really doing it to protect yourself. Like, yeah, that might be true. But the part of you that feels shame, the part of you that feels ashamed for your existence, the part of you that believes that you are just bad and wrong, that part of you doesn't need you to convince it that it's good. That part of you needs you to love, honor, and accept it for being bad or evil or wrong. Because as you are trying to swing yourself over to the perception that you're good, you're still on the axis of good and bad. And it's just not an effective way to shift, because your desire isn't to push away from evil or to push away from bad. It's to step into a position where you just unconditionally, deeply and completely love, honor, and accept yourself. So if I can love, honor, and accept myself and my evil and my bad and my shame, I love, honor, and accept you no matter how bad you are. I love, honor, and accept myself no matter how evil I am. I love, honor, and accept myself no matter how many mistakes I've made. That's how you move through that resistance. And these are not just words that you say. These are things that you must believe. That's the work that you have to do there. Mistakes. The part of you that is afraid to make mistakes. Can you sit down with yourself and have a conversation and let yourself know that you're not going to give up on you? There's a pressure. I want so much. I want to experience so much in the world. I want to do so much. I want to have so much. I want to become so much. I want to allow myself to experience so much, whatever. And I want this so bad, and my desire is so strong. And my belief in myself has a little bit of a wobble in it. And it's a little bit of that belief system that got to get it right on the first try. So a little bit of that, you're really, really, really celebrated, maybe in elementary school, when you're learning and you're doing a really good job. And the only time that you're really being celebrated is when you're excelling. I need to put this damn incense out. The only time that you're being celebrated is when you are excelling, going above and beyond. It's a bit of a slippery slope, because then that puts a pressure of, I gotta keep doing this. So then you begin to put these expectations on yourself of, I have to do this, I have to perform at this level, I have to be more, I have to do more, I have to work harder, it has to be easy for me, I'm supposed to be getting this, it's supposed to be coming easily for me, it's not coming easy for me, I made a mistake, it's not working out the way that I thought it was, now I feel unworthy of love, etc., etc. And it's just about recognizing that you weren't celebrated enough in your childhood, and you weren't loved enough in your childhood just for existing. It's nice to accomplish things, and it's nice to grow and to expand and all of this stuff. But can you sit and just look at the things that you applaud yourself for? This is really a conversation about values. Your values need to be different than the values of your family and the values of your parents. Because they valued never make a mistake, work really hard, always get the rewards, always get the good grades, always get the public what is the word? Public recognition, there it is. So now you focused on, I have to get public recognition and I have to get external validation in order to get a feeling of being good enough. But if you would recognize that you just don't feel good enough, then you could just work through that so that you could just feel good enough. And then the public recognition gets to be extra. It's nice to feel recognized. It's nice to have people outside of me recognizing my brilliance, recognizing my magnificence. I enjoy it. I enjoy experiencing it. But whether or not I get this public recognition does not determine whether or not I'm good enough, whether or not the work that I put out is good enough, whether or not it's valuable, whether or not I am valuable to the world. That's what you're moving through this week. What else? Allowing yourself to feel better, the life that you're creating for yourself, the vision that you have for yourself is the vision of you having a good feeling life. The relationships that you have are healthy, functioning adult relationships. In order to have healthy, functioning adult relationships, you need to have relationships with people who are emotionally immature. Damn it. You need to have relationships with people who are emotionally mature. People who are emotionally immature do not have the capacity to show up. They don't have the skills to show up and have healthy relationships. Couple things that you need to have. In a relationship, it's not your responsibility to process somebody else's emotions. It's not your responsibility to figure out how somebody else feels. It's not your responsibility to figure out what somebody else needs or what somebody else wants. It's your responsibility to care. It's your responsibility to listen. It's your responsibility to show up. Now, our definition of responsibility is a choice. So when you make a choice and you decide and you agree and you commit to have a relationship with someone, you are making a choice. You are taking on a responsibility to listen, to care, to show up. In order for you to be able to meet somebody else's needs, they have to have the capacity to be able to identify and communicate their needs, how they need to be shown up for, etc., etc. As you are moving along this journey, you're really recognizing that it's time for you to start calling in emotionally mature people into your life. Because the people that you have surrounding you, the people that you're trying to make relationships work with, they may or may not have the capacity to give you what you are looking for. If you can recognize and acknowledge where people are, you can love, honor, and accept them, and you can decide to have them in your life in varying degrees. They don't need to be your whole best friend in the whole world that you see every single day and you always hang out with. Because emotionally immature people are draining as fuck to be around. People who lack self-awareness, people who are egocentric. They're draining and tiring to be around. Some of us have the perception that we don't like people. We don't want to be around people. We push people away. We're experiencing so much loneliness. But in reality, or in a different reality, it's not that there's anything wrong with people as a whole. It's that we've been a vibrational match to emotionally immature people for majority of our life, up until now, etc., whatever. So when you recognize, I actually need human connection, because we do, and I want human connection, I just want human connection that feels good. I just want human connection that feels replenishing. Emotionally immature people don't feel replenishing, because if someone is emotionally immature, then they can't process their own emotions. But also, processing emotions is a one-man job. Whenever we're showing up, co-regulating with people emotionally, we're really just showing up and being an emotional container for them, assisting them as they process and move through emotions. Perhaps helping them to see things in a different way if that's what they're asking us for. Listening to them, validating them, reflecting what they're saying back to them, understanding them, helping them to feel seen and heard, important, etc., etc. These are the ways that we assist each other. But processing emotions, that's something that only someone, that people can only do for themselves. There it is. So when you found yourself surrounded by people, and perhaps have been a person, because we all have, because you can't teach yourself something that your parents don't have, and your parents couldn't teach you something that they didn't have, etc., etc. So many of us are emotionally immature people, are healing, are becoming emotionally mature. It's not about bad, wrong, it just is. As you're transitioning, you're recognizing that it's okay to want to only be around emotionally mature people. It's okay to only want to be around people who are having good feeling lives. I think I've said this before, but your relationship should feel good a majority of the time. Your life should feel good a majority of the time. It's not that if your life feels bad that you're doing something wrong. But it's that if you're choosing to move and create a life for yourself where you feel good a majority of the time, then that means the work you want to do right now is, how can I feel good a majority of the time? We're not talking about ignoring your emotions. The more that you feel your emotions, the more that you process your emotions, you naturally vibe back up. You naturally reconnect with your inner being. You naturally go back to a state of feeling good. People who don't know how to process emotions, people who don't know how to move through that, are the people that are always feeling bad. Boom. Last thing I want to say as we start to shuffle cards is that really this week, you're just recognizing that other people are not your responsibility. Other people are not your responsibility. And this is that video that I did perhaps a couple of months ago at this point. And it's about like focus on your own stream so that you can feel empowered, because you can't impact somebody else's stream. You can go back and watch the video if you want to get more, to hear me talking about that more, but that's basically it. People feel how they feel. People are choosing their experience. People are choosing their experience. Me getting here was a choice. I was not lucky and chosen by the universe to be one of the few that would ascend to a better feeling life of riches and what the fuck ever. Me getting here to this point in my life has been a continuous choice. Every single day I wake up and I choose growth, and I choose to reconnect to my inner being, and I choose to shift my focus, and I choose to shift my mindset. I was thinking about when I literally first got into this work. It was February of 2018, a year before I decided to leave college. And a psychic had come up to me and was like, hey, the reason you're not finding love is because you don't love yourself. And I was like, what? And literally that one conversation that we had changed my life forever. It was a no-brainer for me. What she said to me just made sense. I wouldn't have used that this terminology back then, but it fucking resonated. I was like, fuck. The reason I'm not in love is because I don't love myself. It makes sense. I really don't love myself, or didn't back then. And so then, even though I did not know half, I didn't know a quarter of what I know now, I had an inspired action. And my inspired action was take more pictures of yourself. I wasn't even thinking about loving myself and my mind and all of these other things and thinking positive thoughts. I just thought, I don't love my body. This must be what they're talking about. I need to learn how to love my body. And then I started going out and taking pictures, and it became a thing where I was like, I decided I'm going to take pictures of myself. I'm going to post pictures of myself 3 times a week. I'm going to go out to brunch with my friend. I'm going to look cute. I'm going to post those pictures 3 times a week. You have 50 pictures. You must choose 3. I don't care about the flaws. You must choose 3. This is a non-negotiable. You must post 3 every single week. And then I did. And then my friends would comment on my Instagram and they're like, oh my God, yes, queen, slay. And I'm like, oh my God, I am beautiful. And then I remember looking at pictures of myself and my body, because I was not somebody who really actually looked at my body, especially not with a positive lens. When I was looking at my body, I was looking at my body to critique my body. So I just kind of didn't really focus on that. I just got dressed and left. So I remember looking at pictures and being like, wait a second. Is that my waist? Is that what my body looks like? And it was like, whoa, like I look different in this picture than I look in my mind. When did my body start looking like this? And it was a little bit flawed, because me loving myself was really based on the fact that I had lost a lot of weight since high school. We've moved on. We're healing. It's okay. But the point that I'm making is that I made that choice. The second that it was obvious to me that in order to get my desire, which as a Pisces sun, as a 5th houser, of course, it is one of my strongest desires in life to be in love. I love love. If I know that that's the direction that I'm headed in my life, and I know that what I need to do in order to get there is to love myself, I'm going to figure out how the fuck to love myself. And I did. And then every little step of the way, every little choice that I made, learning tarot, research, healing, all of that stuff, those were all me consciously choosing to go farther and farther and farther towards healing, farther and farther and farther towards self-love. And although every single step of the way, that wasn't necessarily my conscious thought, that's what was happening. And I say all of this to say that I didn't end up here at a really, really amazing place emotionally. When I tell you I'm in the receptive mode, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for everything that I feel energetically. It's like for the first time, I really understand, because we've been talking about this for a couple of months, right? The whole ignore what's going on in your physical reality thing. For the first time, I truly understand what it feels like to vibrationally be at a different place than what your physical reality is showing. And to be able to have a detachment of what's going on in the physical reality, and to have a confidence in what you know to be true because you trust how you feel, and you can feel all of the wealth and the love and the whatever that's coming towards you. I've been crying so much recently. not sad tears, really, really happy tears, a lot of tears of gratitude. I was watching this Christmas movie and they were doing like this, like, it was like a little like Thanksgiving scene. And then I cried because I thought about when I have my own family and Thanksgiving and having Thanksgiving traditions with my kids in the future. And then I was just fucking crying. And then there's this commercial. Oh my God, I actually don't know if you guys would see this because it might be a local thing. I don't know. But there's this commercial because I was thinking that it might actually be like a local hospital in Bakersfield, but I'm not sure. But there's this commercial and it like comes on, I see it on Hulu, and it basically like the gist is like, it's like this like hello kindness thing, right? And there's a couple different versions of the commercial. And one version of the commercial is like, it shows like somebody like, you know how they have like cameras like for their driveway and different things like that for the house. So it was like this person, they had a camera in their driveway. And the first thing it shows this, it's like this family, they're going for a walk, they got like their dogs, they got like their little kid like riding a little like tricycle or whatever, and the kid like drives on the tricycle like up the garage, you know, just being a fun kid. Look at this slope, like we're just having a good time, right? So first it shows that, and then it shows like the next clip is this person drawing on their driveway in chalk, and it's basically like this little like route of like, you know, like directing them, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a fun thing, like, how do I describe it? Like, you know, like Candyland, like a little board game, like it literally like, you know, like it just looks like cute little squares, like this is the route, like start here, and like, you know. So then it shows the next clip, and you guessed it, the next clip is like the family coming, and they like, the little kid like drives on the driveway. And then it shows another thing, and it's like this like older kid or adult or whatever, just another person on the bike, and they're driving on the driveway, and it basically is just like community and togetherness, and these people who aren't really having conversations with each other verbally maybe, but they're having conversations energetically, and they are finding love and connection in just the most beautiful way. I'm not gonna cry. So the first time that I cried watching that commercial, I was like 48 hours from getting my period, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then I saw another version of the commercial, and I don't even remember what it was, but it just made me cry because I'm like, wow, I just love this feeling of community. Why the hell did I start telling you guys that story? I literally don't remember what I was talking about at the beginning of this. It doesn't matter. Moving on. With the energy of the Two of Cups, this is basically what we're talking about. Calling in your soul family. Steve Noble has a meditation about calling in your soul family, or calling in people that are going to help you like align with your highest future or something like that. You're just wanting better feeling relationships, a better feeling of community. You know, Beyonce, in that song, what song is it? I don't remember what that song is. It's from The Lion King, from The Gift, the album, and she basically says like, I pour into you and you pour into me. There ain't no drought here. You know what I mean? It's just this like beautiful, beautiful moment that you're having. And whether that's because you are attracting new relationships into your life, or you're deepening the relationships that you already have, your soul is calling for a greater amount of intimacy and closeness with people. And this feels like a genuine, authentic connection. What I recognized was, because I've been telling my team over the past couple of days, like, okay, like, I really need to call my soul family in. Like, yes, I've got some really cool, like, friends and people in my life, but I don't yet have those people that it feels like, okay, like, this is, like, this is the person who I'm going to her house every Saturday night and we watch movies together. You know what I mean? And so my team has been asking me questions of like, okay, we know what you don't want. Now you have to tell us what it is that you do want. And so I've really been playing around with that in my mind. And a couple of the things that I've really come to the conclusion of is that it's about values. It's about values. It's about the way that we live life. It's about the way that we see life. I love being a teacher, and I love being somebody who can come and give information and who studies and all of these different things. But I would just like to have a community of people, a friends group of people who already know this. And we don't have to have conversations about, well, I think the universe works like this. Like, oh yeah, infinite abundance, all this good stuff. Like, these are things that we just know, and we just hang out and we talk about shoes or good food, or we take really awesome trips and we just have a really good time with each other, enjoying the experience of life. So I really am calling in people who share more of my same values, who want the same life experience that I want, who want the same emotional fulfillment that I want. What else is going on this week for the collective? What's going on in the collective this week? With the energy of the Page of Wands, I'm getting like creativity, fun, adventure. Some of you might be dancing. You might be being called to more physical action this week, moving your body, whether that's through dancing or exercise, or however it is that you're being inspired to do it. Physically moving your body will help to kind of shake up and move some stagnant energy, things that are no longer serving you. But this also feels like creating. There's something here about moving and creating. Some of you might be artists and you listen to music while you are creating your art. You might be getting super in tune with the things that you are listening to. You might be doing more meditation. Something about the content that you are consuming and that really inspiring you this week. I see a lot of inspiration. I see a lot of creation that's happening. And this isn't something that you have to do or something that will be forced. This is something that's natural with the energy of the Page of Wands, because pages are children, and one of the associations that I'm working on releasing in my mind is the association that to be a child and to be young is to be bad and is to be inexperienced or not knowing something, right? Because children are just kind of fucking brilliant, and children are geniuses at knowing how to have fun and how to have a good time. And it's about recognizing that everybody has their own zone of genius, things that they are naturally good at and naturally adept at. I think it's adept. Just, you have something that you're really, really naturally good at. And I feel like you're going to be going back to that, doing a lot of inner child healing work. But this inner child healing work feels more like activity. So it's like a little bit less journaling, a little bit more going out in the world, actually having a good time, actually going out, I don't know, doing something that your inner child, would have liked to do. You're going to go to the park and you're going to paint. You're going to do some dance improv. You're going to do some theater. You're going to go do whatever it is that would have really lit you up as a child, whatever it is that you loved. It could be writing stories, singing songs. This definitely feels like a lot of performance here. With the energy of the King of Pentacles. I was going to say, in terms of money and finances, I'm just singing that song Money Good by Megan Thee Stallion. Love that song. See you processing, moving through financial fear this week. I'm going to link an EFT video that I literally have up on my computer that'll help you to move through the stress about not having enough. You want to work through feelings of lack consciousness. Amanda Frances has a book that's really, really good. I'm listening to it on Audible. Love it. That may help. You don't have to do anything. Allow your inner being to guide you. Starfish. See, I think this is about creativity, because this is water. Some of you might be making money from some sort of creative pursuits or creative thing that you're creating, or you're going to be inspired to create something that's going to make you a lot of money, or you're going to have money that's coming in, money beginning to come in through some sort of like creative projects, or you're wanting funding for creative projects, and that's going to be coming in. Oh, yes, they're saying talk about the mistakes, because I didn't really go into depth about that. So when it comes to your mistakes, there's a lot of pressure around what it is that you want to do, what you want to accomplish. You know what I'm talking about. So this pressure and this fear of I'm going to fuck it up has you in this kind of paralysis where you're not allowing yourself to move forward, where you're not allowing things to come in because you're too afraid that you're going to do something wrong, something that's going to make you unworthy or undeserving of your desires. So in order to move and shift through this is a conversation that you want to have with your inner child. Yes, you can do the I love, honor, and accept you and your mistakes. I love that you make mistakes. It's okay that you make mistakes. I'm never going to be mad at you for making mistakes. That's a really good thing that you want to do first. And then further moving into that conversation, you want to get into like, I'm not going to give up on you. Or it's not that you can't get frustrated with yourself, because being frustrated with yourself is normal and it's natural. It's not something that is necessary. It's not something that you have to expect, but it's something that is okay. And if you would like to shift to be able to have more compassion towards yourself, that's an option that you can ask your inner being to guide you to. And you can also just sit with yourself and really let yourself know that you're willing to make mistakes, and that it doesn't matter if I don't get it today. I'm going to show up tomorrow and I'm going to keep doing the work that I said that I was going to do. And then I'm going to show up the next day and I'm going to keep doing the work that I said that I was going to do. And then I'm going to show up the next day and I'm going to keep doing the work that I said that I was going to do. And then affirmation work is like, I get closer and closer every single day. I'm closer today than I was yesterday. So I'm going to be closer tomorrow than I am today. And the closer I get, and the closer I get, and the closer that I get, I'm closer this week than I was last week. One of these weeks is going to be the week that I get it. Because that just makes sense. And when we understand this, then we're in the perception, the belief system, the vibration of receiving our desires, because we recognize that it is inevitable. It is inevitable for me to receive my desires. It's okay if we make a mistake. It's okay if we have a new opportunity of learning. It's okay. I'm okay with this taking a long time, because the universe is going to bring it to me in divine timing. So if I don't have it now, then I must not need it now. And the reason why I say that is because what's the example? I want to do debt as an example. Okay, debt as an example. I don't have $40,000 to pay off my student loans right now. I want to pay off my student loans. I'm becoming the woman who is debt-free. Awesome sauce. I know that I am becoming the woman who is debt-free. I know that it is inevitable for me to pay off my student loans. It is my desire to pay off my student loans. My inner being is always guiding me to my desire. These are things that I know to be true. These are beliefs that I have already established. So, it's okay if $40,000 doesn't come into my bank account today. And it's okay if $40,000 doesn't come into my bank account tomorrow. And it's okay if $40,000 doesn't come into my bank account next week. We don't want to go on a tangent here because we're not building momentum of not getting money. But we're just recognizing that it's okay. Because the way that the universe works so beautifully, synchronistically, serendipitously, is that I'm going to get the perfect shift or be in the perfect position and be open to receiving, and I'm going to align with the money to pay off the loans at the perfect time. The absolute perfect time. So in that way, I can surrender. And I can say, you know what? They're going to get paid off. I know that to be true. The universe is not going to let me down, which means things always work out for me. I know that to be true. So my inner children don't have to have the pressure and the weight and the responsibility of, you have to understand business right here and right now. Otherwise, there's some huge major consequence. You have to be open to receiving $1 million right now. Otherwise, there's some terrible consequence. No, it's okay. It's okay if things don't work out the way that I planned. It's okay if things take a little bit more time than I planned. I'm opening myself up more and more every single day to receive what I want. I'm experiencing more happiness and more joy every single day that I live. I'm enjoying my life more and more every single day that I live. Do you hear the sirens in the background? I don't know if you can hear them. With the eagle, it's about having a bird's eye view. And also doing the work surrounding caring about what other people think about you. Because if you recognize that you're a butterfly, really, really powerful creator, there's a lot of flying that's going on here. So this could actually be traveling that you'll be doing soon. But you're worrying about how somebody else is going to perceive you. Wait, hold on. What's the worst thing that could happen if you make a mistake? That's the question that you want to do. And what does that mean about you? If I make a mistake and I fuck it up and other people see me, then they're going to laugh at me. I'm going to be embarrassed. How do you feel when that happens? I feel rejected and I feel like an outcast. So my biggest fear in life isn't making a mistake. It's being rejected, feeling like an outcast. That's what needs to heal. That's what needs to be worked through. I would like to heal my feelings of rejection and abandonment. When making a mistake doesn't mean anything about me, then I'm okay to make mistakes. Because you're worrying about how other people are going to perceive your process, your progress, your life, your choices, whatever. But it's about recognizing that everybody doesn't have the eagle's point of view. Not just the bird's eye point of view. Some of you might want to go read The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know, some message might be in there for you. The bird's eye view, eagles, if I'm not mistaken, eagles have really good eyesight, right? Eagles can like zoom in really well. You know what I'm saying? The people who are watching you from the perspective of the hyena who lives life on the ground, I'm focusing on the dark side of the moon in this depiction. The people who are focusing on you and talking badly about you or aren't seeing the truth of you, who you truly are, all of these things, it's like they're misunderstanding you and judging you unfairly. Their opinion and perspective isn't valid then. If you can't see me for who I truly am, then your opinion and your perspective of me is invalid. If you were going to, appraise a house, you know, the process when you're like determining the value of a property or something. If you wanted to do an appraisal on a house, I think that's what it is, but you can only see the living room of the house, and you can't see how big the house is, and nobody will tell you how many rooms are in the house. You can't see any of the other structures within the house. All you see is the living room. And you maybe aren't even aware that there's more to the house than what it is that you've been granted access to see. You're probably not going to value that house accurately. You're probably not going to appraise that home accurately. I hope that I'm using that term correctly. You're probably not going to be able to evaluate that thing correctly. So the people who are judging you, they're looking at you change and transform from a caterpillar to a butterfly, and you're in a little cocoon stage, whatever. It's okay if somebody looks at me while I'm in a cocoon and is like, oh my God, she looks so ridiculous. She's a pile of goo. Look at her, goo girl. And their perception of me might be correct based off of what they see. But if I know me, or the Creator knows me, God knows me, my inner being knows me, I know the plan that I have for myself, then I can show up and I can have a bird's eye view. I can show up and I can look at everything that's happening for me in my life. And I can also show up and I can look at every little small thing that's happening in my life. Sometimes I sit and I go, holy fuck, you're only 22. And I get so wrapped up in having to be where I want to be in life. And I'm like, oh my God, wait a second. Like, you're doing really, really good. Because you're aligning with so much and allowing yourself to receive so much. And the way that you've set this up, it's to where you're going to be able to really fucking enjoy your 20s and the rest of your life. Like, that's just kind of fucking dope. Like, I love that. I love that my soul chose that. So, it doesn't matter what anybody's perception of me is right here and right now, today, or a couple weeks ago, or a month ago. You could think I'm a complete fucking mess. That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything. Because your perception of me is always going to be skewed. Because there is no one, no matter how much you've been watching me over the internet, who knows everything that I have moved through. There's nobody who knows that. When I celebrate things, I really, really celebrate with my spirit guides, because I'm like, no, you MFs, no. Like, yeah, you guys know a lot on the internet. You do. I'm pretty transparent, pretty open. You don't know everything. Well, there's no big secrets, but still. So it's about recognizing that other people can have their perceptions, but it's going to be skewed at best. And then their perceptions are going to be rooted in their life experience, their emotional maturity. There's so much that goes into this shit. It's not even an efficient use of my time to focus on what somebody else thinks about me. Because your perception of me is not the perception of the universe. You don't see who I truly am. You can't possibly see my destiny. You don't see what I'm choosing for myself. So it's okay. It's okay for other people to have a wonky perception of you. It's okay for other people to not agree completely with every single choice that you've ever made or that you are making in your life. Because like I said on my Instagram story a couple of weeks ago, they weren't chosen, you were. For whatever the fuck it is that you want to do in your life. It doesn't matter. Alright. That's it. You're a star. I love you. I hope this helped. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.